live feed today. Went out for a Sunday drive and walk like I normally do with my daughters, but my youngest is out of the country. So I grabbed my two oldest, son and daughter, and decided to head out for a walk. And I wanted to stop by here on the 18th, May 18th, which was a couple of Sundays ago. But that was my oldest daughter's graduation, so did not have time to spare to come over here for that. So I missed the anniversary of the battle here. But this is the Sherwood Rader Farm Civil War Park. There was a fight here, or a battle, or an encounter on May 18th, 1863. And I've been here before, so I'll put a link to that after I get off of this and do some editing. But here is the park. See right here, it's on this corner in Joplin, Missouri. Got a little bit of a dedication here. Engagement that took place on this site in Jasper County on May 18th, 1863. Union troops of the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry were attacked by the Confederate guerrilla band under the command of Thomas Livingston. So there you have that. And it's got a little bit of a fencing here, and then the park basically just goes where you see the fence all the way around there. Here is the opening placard to tell a little bit about what went on here. As you can see, the Civil War action on this field was part of a series of events in May 1863 that intensified Southwest Missouri's bitter guerrilla conflict and ultimately left most of Jasper County depopulated in ruins by war's end. In early May, Union forces established a small outpost at Baxter Springs to secure the vital supply line between Fort Scott, Kansas, and Fort Gibson in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma. Confederate guerrillas operating in western Jasper County under Major Thomas Livingston posed the principal threat. Now, to give you some bearings, Baxter Springs is that way, and I've covered a lot of Baxter Springs, including a battle there, so I'll put links to that as well. But that's off in that general distance there. On May 18th, following a week of earlier engagements between the opposing armies, Livingston surprised about 50 soldiers of the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry and 2nd Kansas Battery as they foraged at Rader Farm just east of this site. So east would be that direction if my bearings are correct, but I might be a little off because there was a turn in the road. Livingston's 67 men routed the soldiers, killing 18, including several African-American troops who tried to surrender. Falling back, the Federals made a stand on this property before retreating to Kansas. On May 19th, Union troops from Baxter Springs, bent on revenge, returned to the scene. Although Livingston's band eluded the force, the Federals captured and executed John Bishop, known to be a Southern sympathizer, then proceeded 3 miles northwest to Sherwood, near the intersection of J.J. Highway and Fur Road. Because this 3rd largest town in Jasper County was guerrilla base, all the businesses and homes of the 250 inhabitants were burned. The town was never rebuilt. Indeed, for the remainder of the war, a cycle of burned homes and revenge killings perpetrated by both sides devastated the entire region. So, in 2015, a 2015 archaeological study at this site provided important evidence regarding the likely course of the battle at Rader's Farm. We invite you to tour the area and further read information gleaned from this study and from accounts written by both sides. So here's some more information here. And the battle at Baxter Springs Quantrell was involved with that, who actually is famous for raiding along the border and burning Lawrence, Kansas, where all 3 of my kids were born. You can see some of that border stuff right there. There's Baxter Springs. Here's Sherwood, where we're at. And there's Fort Scott up here. And of course, Lawrence is way up this direction, not on that map. You can see here Sherwood. Here's the Rader Farm. You can see the movements of that. And then here's images of the William Matthews recruited company of 81 men for the service of the 1st Colored Infantry, 1862. The regiment successfully defended its position at Island Mound, Missouri in 1862. As a result, the 1st Kansas is on record as the first regiment of black troops to engage in combat during the Civil War. In 1863, the regiment was reorganized and officially mustered into service of the United States Army at Fort Scott. Let's do a little bit of walk here, because there's another placard off in the distance there. Thank you all for stopping by. Because of the sun, I can't even see my comments on here. Let's see if I can get a glimpse of what some of the comments here. Alrighty, well, can't quite make those out, but there you have it. A little bit more peaceful and quiet out here. So basically you just have a kind of a square plot of land along this corner here of the intersecting roads. But there was an archaeological dig that kind of found some stuff out here. So as I said, I kind of missed this by 2 weeks, missed the anniversary because I was detained. All right, ambush and retreat, here we go. Ambush and retreat from Rader Farm, Jasper County, May 18th, 1863. Shooting began in the rear and almost instantaneously all around us. In surrounding us, the enemy had cut off 6 men on picket, 20 unarmed men loading corn, and 5 teamsters also unarmed, leaving 29 men hemmed in a short, narrow lane with a gate at one end with arms to fight our way out. Now, without knowing it, we had rode into a trap. That's Hugh Thompson, 3rd Wisconsin Cavalry, Baxter Springs, as a military post. There's a picture of Hugh right there. Kind of hard to see if you're making this out with all the sun and glare. Official records do not give details of the action at Rader's Farm. One eyewitness, Lieutenant Hugh Thompson of the 3rd Wisconsin Cavalry, wrote down his account many years later. His account conveys that there was a resistance after the initial surprise. There was resistance after the initial surprise was secured further west of the farm, but his is the only statements to that fact. Now, after a 2015 archaeological study at this location, evidence found proves that the fight did take place here roughly a quarter-mile west of Rader Farm. You were standing where several artifacts were found, roughly a line south to the north where the path they were caught in headed out towards Sherwood. Fired and smashed musket rounds, dropped rounds, and other items show that a stand was made here by members of the 1st Colored Infantry. And here are some of the stuff that was worn by the 1st Colored Infantry. So look at this map here, get a little bit better. Here's to Sherwood. Here's Rader Farm, Livingston attack right there. So here's the artifacts right here. So that's basically where we're at, is where these artifacts were found right here. So there you have it. Currently there's a road there that intersects with the road right here. And this is where the battle took place. On May 18th, 1863. So I thought I'd take a little bit of walk. It's not too far up the road from where I live, so taking a sanctuary Sunday walk with my kids, and thought I would take a look at this battlefield again. I might try to get some more readings on it. The problem is there's not, as it showed on those placards, there's really not a lot talking about this engagement. And I think we might have exhausted a lot of the knowledge and resources on it. But interesting nonetheless, at least to me. I want to thank you all for stopping by this beautiful Sunday as we head out here. Thanks again, and take care, all.